Draw a line on it, please. So I want to start off by saying, we've talked about this a little bit before, the marketplace is changing, and I wanted to kind of give you a layman's view of some of the things that are going on in the marketplace right now. Up until recently, most of us that have been in the business thought the clients were staying in their homes somewhere between 8 and 12 years, right? That sound right? And maybe 10 or 12 years before that, the clients were staying in the houses somewhere between 5 and 8 years. That was kind of the normal. They would stay in that long. Well, recently, the statistics are showing that our clients are staying in their homes as much as 20 years. So write that down. 20 years. Which means if somebody stays in their home 20 years and they're not selling as often, our opportunities are going to be a little bit less for those properties coming up for sale, right? Say yes. Yes. Okay, so that's some of the things that we need to talk about. What I want you to get is the picture, first of all, as to why that's happening. In 2003, 4, and 5, people could buy homes pretty easily, right? Interest rates were dropping. You didn't have to have a down payment to speak of. You didn't have to have, or proof of a down payment anyway. You didn't have to have a job because it was stated income. There's a lot of funny things, interesting things going on in getting loans. And a number of people were using their homes like ATMs. They would refinance their house, they would pull some money out of it, and then they would either maybe go buy another house, or they would go buy jet skis, or those kinds of things. But that's about, they calculated between 18 and 25% of the population did that. And those are the people in 2006, 7, 8, 9, and 10 that were having big trouble with their homes. Prices started to drop, people couldn't make their house payments, and those properties fell into foreclosure. You remember that stuff? Okay. But 75 to 80% of America were pretty conservative. And what they did was, as the interest rates were dropping, they refinanced their house. So if it was 7% and the interest rates dropped to 5%, they dropped it to 5%. Now, some people would lower their house payment. Most people, being conservative, kept the same house payment and ended up paying the loans off faster. See how that works? So they were paying the properties off faster. A phenomena that we hadn't seen in America really for a long, long time. So the properties are starting to get paid off. So the John Q. Public ends up with, they think, most people were thinking they'd have a 30-year mortgage and they would be making that payment for 30 years, now paid off the home in 10 years, 15 years. So they were having these properties would get paid off. Well, that happened to a lot of America. You guys know people that have free and clear homes?
Yes.
A lot of that stuff right now. A lot of the listing appointments we go out on, they're free and clear, or they're very close to being paid off. Well, when a person has a low or no payment on a piece of property, they're less inclined to sell the house. Because let's say they were paying $1,500 a month, now they don't have any payment, but they have a nice equity in the house, maybe they have $500,000 in equity, and they say, husband and wife talk about it, hey, let's move and take the cash, and we'll pay cash for another house and see what happens. But they can't, will a $500,000 cash down payment, in most cases, get them the house of their choice? They have to put a loan on it. So maybe it's not a big loan, but maybe it's a $300,000 or $400,000 loan, but they say, well, wait a minute, I don't want to make any payments. So they stop, and they slow down the process of buying and selling. So that's one issue. The second issue is, how many of you watch HGTV? Hello? Come on, raise your hands. It's like the most popular station in the world. That's the one where they do Flip or Flop, or they remodel houses, or the Property Brothers are on it, right? Okay, so they take a ugly duckling house and they make it absolutely extraordinary for what they say, not a lot of money. No, I've not run into not a lot of money on a rehab yet, but that's what they say, okay? They'll get a $7,000 kitchen. You know, so what happens is the people stay in the house and they look around and they say, but I don't want my old kitchen. I don't want my old floor. I want to spruce it up. They see it can be done for what they perceive reasonable money. And the truth is, it can be reasonable. And then if they don't have the cash, which a lot of them do, will put a small loan on the house, put a $100,000 loan on their house. Payments are low, interest rates are low, and they'll take that cash and they'll go rehab their property. And now they're living in that HGTV cool house. Do you guys get that? So they don't need to sell. There's no need to move. That's what's happening in the marketplace today. You guys see that? So what we have to do is you're going to have to write this down. It's very important. You ready?
Yes.
Talk to more people.
Got it.
No, you got to write it down. Don't sidestep this. Talk to more people. Because if it's going to take 20 years, it used to take 10, that means that they're going to sell slower. But remember this, they are going to what? Sell. They're going to move. Stuff happens. People get older. They can't go in two-story houses. I mean, perfect example. You know, I mean, we're seriously looking at doing something. We have a two-story house. And if we were to move or do something different, we would go into a one-story house, or they're making a big deal about these, single elevators that are kind of cool. And at one time, you couldn't imagine putting an elevator into some of these houses. But you can get the coolest, greatest all-glass elevator in a house for less than $100,000 today. Now, I know it sounds like a lot of money, but boy, if you don't have to move, and you don't have to go anywhere, and you can have this really cool elevator that fits into small areas for $100,000 or $75,000. Now remember, when you move, if you can't take your tax base with you, that could be huge. Huge. Because right now, if somebody bought a house 20 years ago, their tax base could be, I don't know, $3,000 a year. And if they move into $1 million house, what's the taxes? Could be $12,000 a year. Doesn't take too many $12,000 to pay for an elevator, does it? Do you guys get that? That's what's happening. That's why people aren't moving. So I wrote down here, take action or accept the results. Take action or accept the results. Most people who fail to achieve what they want fail for lack of action. You have to talk to more people. You have to take care of your past client and sphere base. Why? Because if you don't, someone else will. If you don't, someone else will. So there's some words I wrote down here that I come across when I'm coaching and working on running through the finish line. So you can write these down and we'll talk about them. The first one is persistence. Write down the word persistence. Write down the word persistence. Then write the word stay the course. The third thought is discipline. The next one is focus. The next one is consistency. And the last one I wrote down here for today is today matters. Persistence. Never take no for an answer when yes is still possible with a qualified lead. We don't follow up enough, often enough. We're not persistent enough. The next one is stay the course. Where we tend to get in trouble is, this week I'm going to work expireds. Next week I'm going to work for sale by owners. Next week I'm going to work just listed, just solds. Next week I'm going to work the internet. Next week. And what happens? When you come back to it, those leads are already moved. Those deals are already gone. How many times have I talked to you, those of you that have been with me a long time, how many times have I talked to you about past client and sphere? So I do 40 meetings a year. I've been doing this for arguably 25 years, doing meetings. 40 meetings a year. I don't talk about past client and sphere at every meeting. Is that it? Is that the number? I don't talk about past client and sphere every time. I only talk about past client and sphere only in meetings that end, the day ends with a Y. At some point, we talk about past client and sphere. And yet, some of you have done a fabulous job owning, taking charge of it, working it, and doing it, and are getting really good results from it. And some of us, not so much. Past client and sphere, stay the course. Stay the course. Be focused, be consistent, be committed. I wrote down here, the next one is discipline. We've got to learn discipline in this business. There's probably 2 words, in my opinion, that are magic words in this business. One, we talked about already, and that is, we didn't talk about it yet, and we'll talk about it in a minute. The one that we're talking about now is discipline, and the next one is consistency. If you could be disciplined and be consistent in this business, it's really hard to be, it's hard not to be successful. So I wrote down the next word is focus. We lose our focus in what we're supposed to be doing. We're running around doing different things. When's the last time you did a 5-5-10? Raise your hand. If you did a 5-5-10 in the last 5 days. 1, 2. Okay, I'll go for, how about a 3-3-8? How about a 2-2-1? Oh, you got 1. Preview 5 houses a day, go see 5 expireds a day, and knock 10 doors around each one of them. Focus. Do that consistently over time. Be disciplined about it, and you'll come back with plenty of cash. Where we talked about consistency, I don't think we can say enough about consistency. And then the last one is Today Matters. Today Matters talks about taking action or accepting the results. One of the truths I see in this business, I wrote down here, is the power of consistency is one of the most important forces in the world. You could write that down. In my opinion, consistency is one of the most powerful forces of the world. If you're consistently doing enough things right, you will reap huge rewards. Exercise consistently over time. Good for you or bad for you? Good for you. Okay? Eating the right things consistently over time. Good for you, bad for you. Going to see for sale by owners and expireds consistently over time. Good for you or bad for you? Don't say bad for you. If you do enough things, so if you did a little bit of eating right, a little bit of exercising right, working on your scripts and dialogues a little bit right, going and doing a 5-5-10 on a regular basis a little bit right, doing things consistently over time, you will reap huge rewards. Just think about this. Okay, we have 6 weeks. It's not a long time, right? In some cases, it's not a long time. And others of us are looking at it as it's plenty of time. What if we did this? What if we just did a 5-5-10, 5 days a week for the next 6 weeks? What if you just did that? Okay, well, we'll do something else. I wrote down here, talking about past client and sphere. Take better care of your existing and past clients, or they're going to almost always become someone else's future clients. Think about that. Your past clients can be, and in a lot of cases are, someone else's future clients. I wrote down here, start your prospecting session with an exact goal or purpose. What we want to do is for the next 6 weeks, we want to line out specific things that we can do on a daily, weekly basis. So when you start prospecting, when you go into prospecting, here's an idea. Is there really any reason, just on a piece of paper, just write down yes or no. On a piece of paper in front of you, write down the word yes or no. Okay? Please do this. Yes, no. That's it. 2 words. Yes, no. 5 letters. Yes, no. Yes. Yeah. Y-E-S. Over here. No. Got it? Everybody got it? Yes. Okay. We're done here at 2 o'clock. The lunch and learn and the advanced script class. And stick around for the advanced script class because we're working on some cool stuff. So at 2 o'clock. From 2 to 5, it's light. Now, I get that some of you may have kids to pick up, but those of you that don't, for those 3 hours, commit to a 5-5-10 the rest of today. Just circle yes or circle no. Circle yes or circle no. Just commit today to a 5-5-10. That's all. And then call me later and tell me how it went. So I wrote down here, every day as you go to work, you have 2 options. A, do something productive, or B, do something non-productive. Interesting, right? Kind of simple. We come to work, we have 2 options. Do something productive, do something non-productive. So I wrote down here, it's your choice. Wouldn't you rather do something productive? Yes. Hello? Yes. Absolutely. Okay, the next thought. Let's talk about practice. Practice is just as valuable as the sale. I don't know if you've heard this put this way before. Practice, because sometimes it's really hard for me to get you to practice because you don't see the value of the practice. But I wrote down here, practice is just as valuable as the sale. The sale will make you a living. The skill can make you a fortune. The sale will make you a living. You will make some sales. Imagine if you polished those skills and worked on those skills more than anyone else when the opportunity came up because you were out meeting the people. You could make a fortune in this business, and people do it all the time. A lot of money being made in this business. Doesn't take a special, the beauty of this business, it doesn't take a special degree, doesn't take people with special brains. You don't have to be a math genius. You You don't have to know how to do exchanging, etc., etc. You just think about this. Conceptually, you could just go right behind the office here and you could door knock those 1,000 homes. You could use the real simple hot market script that's real simple to use, very, very simple, and just use that and knock on 1,000 doors behind us. You don't even have to drive your car. Okay, you don't have to spend any gas. Interesting. You did that, and you came back to the office. Would you meet people? During this, would you meet people?
Yes.
Would some of those people need to buy or sell a piece of property?
Yes.
Would they?
Yes.
You could probably get a deal. Right behind us. Not far. 1 block. Make a right. Some of you, 2 blocks, make a left. What do you think? Some of you, 4 blocks, and just scatter on the hills. It actually gets more expensive as you go up the hill. You go 1 mile from here, you'll be selling $1 million houses. Maybe not even a mile. Interesting, huh? No problem. And we know that there are people there that would need to buy and sell a piece of property. So practice is just as valuable as the sale. The sale will make you a living. The skill will make you a fortune. The daily consistency of prospecting and lead follow-up is the gateway to sales success and high profitability. Question: how will you spend your days? How will you spend the next 6 weeks? If we said by going out and door knocking right behind us will get you business, why wouldn't you do it? Can you do me a favor? Can you tell me why, not you personally, why someone might not do this for the next 6 weeks? Not you. I don't want to put you on the spot. But why would somebody not do this? Help me out. Complacent, okay. What else? Lazy.
Don't know the scripts.
Don't know what to say or how to say it. So let me, somebody said lazy. No. Is there anyone in here who really thinks of themselves as lazy? I don't think so. Do you? No. And yet, we know what we're supposed to do, and we don't what? Do it. And maybe it's complacency. Yet, if it's complacency, that would mean that we don't need it. Yet, I suspect that most of us do, don't we? Do we need another sale in closing?
Yes.
Because if you don't, I want to spend time with you. But it's true, right? And yet complacency gets in the way. So here's the next question that you need to be asking yourself at the end of the day. What actions will move my career forward? What actions can I take tomorrow? What actions in the evening, tonight? What actions can I take that will move my career forward? And this is a career, and it's a great career, and it has great opportunities. The money that can be made and is made in this industry by people in this company is phenomenal. Phenomenal. I don't usually post what people earn. I mean, I think I make a mistake maybe sometimes by not doing that, because if you look at the earnings and you see it, because I've had some people say this to me when they look at the top 10 in the Century 21 system and they go, oh my gosh, that agent made $1 million already this year? That agent did $500,000 this year? It's pretty impressive stuff. It's real money. It's real. It's not like from a joke. It's real money. It's real people that you really rub shoulders with. It's pretty impressive. You too can do this. So I wrote down here, I am the most important asset I have. Not my money, not my family. It starts and ends with me. I'm talking about you. Do you guys get this? It starts and ends with you. Ladies and gentlemen, you are what people are buying. You are what people are buying. If they're not buying you, it's because A, you haven't reached out to meet them, and then B, if you have met them and they're not doing business with you, maybe there's something that you're doing that's rejecting, that's pushing them away. The clothes that you wear, the perfume that we have on, the ambiance that we're putting out there, the fact that when we shake a hand, you know, guys and gals, you know what I'm talking about. When somebody shakes your hand, if they shake it like a what do they call it, a dead fish, I mean, you know, it's a turnoff. It's a I don't want to work with this person. It's these little things that we have huge control over, that are sometimes the things that are in the way of the transaction. So I wrote down here, we have choices. We have a choice to do nothing. We have a choice to get into action. The question is, what's it going to be for you going forward for the next 6 weeks? Are you going to take action, be focused, be consistent, or not? I think all of us should take a little more action. Wake up a little bit earlier. Stay up a little bit later. Work a little bit longer on that script. All of you should stay for the advanced script class that we're going to have. And then that'll help us make next week one of the best weeks we've ever had. Thank you very much.